for me, it's two major passions: football, which is soccer,
Hmm.
and music. Those two have always been there with me as a kid, as a teenager, and it was basically going to be one of those.
This podcast is about you and your journey in music
Thank
and
you.
how you got to where you are now.
Sounds amazing. Thank you for the call, Adam.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So originally from Argentina.
I'm originally from Argentina. Yes,
Talk to me
I
about
left
that.
Argentina. Yeah, I mean, I always been coming to the U.S. since a very early age. I have family in the U.S. I lived in the U.S. for already been here for more than 12 years.
Oh, wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, I'm very connected to the culture here, to the music, to the British rock and roll. Um, but yes, I was born in Argentina and I lived there most of my life till I was like 18.
Oh, at 18 is when you moved. Where'd
I
you move?
went.
Miami?
No, I actually started my journey in Boston. I went to
Oh,
Berklee College
Berklee.
of
Okay.
Music. Then I moved to New York City. I did 2 years there. Now I've been 3 years in Miami, and looks like the next step is Los Angeles.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
in
I'm doing
Argentina.
all the cities: Boston, New York, Miami, and then.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
obviously, huge in the music. I mean, super talented.
Thank
Not
you.
only by your music I've heard, but going to Berklee. So, how did you get into music originally?
It's always been there. It's always been, for me. It's two major passions: football, which is soccer,
Mm-hmm.
and music. Those two have always been there with me as a kid, as a teenager, and it was basically going to be one of those.
Okay.
I was very into soccer when I was a kid. I was almost going for it. And at one point in my teenage years, I discovered Led Zeppelin and Guns N' Roses and Jimi Hendrix and Pink
Uh-oh.
Floyd, because from 13 and down, it was Green Day, Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, The Offspring. You remember
Yeah,
those
of
times,
course. Sure.
right? But then something happened, and I listened to these guys, and I started taking like my guitar playing more serious, and I started taking blues lessons, and I started playing live, and something happened there. Just the spirituality of it just made me say, okay, it's not
This is it,
soccer.
not soccer anymore.
Yeah.
So, guitar was the first instrument you learned?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The vocals, it was just out of consequence, because I was never like planning to sing. My idea has always been that kind of like Led Zeppelin formation with the singer and me and the guitarist in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point with this other band, Stone Giant, that I formed in Berklee before Bluhauz,
Mm-hmm.
we had another singer, and then he left, and it was basically like either we split up or you start singing. So I said, okay, let's sing. So I just threw myself out there. I completely destroyed my voice until you just get to the point that you understand how to make it happen,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, how old were you when you learned guitar?
Um, I mean, I've played since I'm like 5, but
Oh, wow.
to really, really study, like understand what I was doing, probably at 17, I started.
But you started at 5.
I
Wow.
started at 5, and of
Who
course, I
got you
took
the guitar at 5?
my father.
Okay. Was he a guitar player?
No, no, he's a banker.
Oh, just
Yeah,
thought you would enjoy it, or what
yeah.
was the inspiration?
I don't know. I honestly don't know how it started. But it was only at 17 that I really went and studied and learned the scales, learned what I was doing, the harmony. Started getting Hendrix under my fingers. So I would say that at 17 is when I completely started. I'm 31 now, so probably a few years. Yeah.
But wow, I mean, 17 and you moved to Berklee at 18. So you only had like a year of like really learning
I
skills and
moved
learning.
like around there, 18, 19. But yeah, I mean, I already had it in my fingers from all the years. It was just sitting down and study and like understand what was going on, to be able to improvise, to be able to write, to be able to play a Led Zeppelin song and understand what's going on, instead of just learning the songs. right? Because it's very important to know what you're doing. I saw an interview, I think Guitar Center does, to John Mayer, and he explains that. It's like, look, you can learn the riff of Vultures by memory, but you're learning Vultures, you're not learning music. If you learn where that Vultures thing is coming from, then you can grab and steal from me. That's what he says. Because you'll understand what I'm doing, and you'll be able to improvise and take that idea and make it into your own. Apart, versus, okay, let's learn the slash solo note by note. Don't ask me to improvise. Don't ask me to do anything, because I just know it by heart. I don't know where that is coming from. Mm-hmm. So once you start studying
why
and hey, I really like that riff. Okay, understand where that's coming from, and why do you like it, and how can you like play more from it, you know?
Uh-huh. Was John Mayer a big influence on you? And like, is that why you went to Berklee, or no?
No, I became I got into John Mayer. There was one key moment that I I found a lot of respect for John Mayer. Was I saw the DVD he does in this concert in California called Where the Light Is.
Okay.
And he does 3 sets. He comes out acoustic, then he comes out with a trio, and then he comes out with the full band. So it's like 3 artists in one show.
Wow.
And there I said, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, because he just went from the pop acoustic stuff to the trio blues Jimi Hendrix covers to his original set. And I actually met John Mayer in Berklee the first semester. He came to one of our classes and he did a talk.
Because that's incredible.
Yeah,
he showed up to what, your guitar class?
Yeah, he just showed up and did like a huge seminar for Berklee students, and he just kind of talked about his experience. And I had the same lyric teacher that he had, and he told us the story that song, My Buddy's a Wonderland, he wrote it for class, for like a project, and then it ended up becoming one of his hits.
Huge hit. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I didn't realize that was a song you wrote at school.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah,
that's cool. So, well, tell me about getting to Berklee. So you're in Argentina. Mm-hmm. You're playing guitar. How do you make the jump all the way to Boston, get into Berklee School of Music?
Yeah.
Like, obviously you knew about Berklee while living in Argentina.
Kind of. Yes. Okay. Yes. I mean, like I said, I've always been very in touch with the US. I went to an American school in Argentina. So basically my classes were in English, and they prepare you to go.
You said you have family in the States.
My brother was born in San Francisco.
Okay.
I have family in Washington. My everybody's here now. So
you always knew, your family always knew they were going to come back to the States, or like, how come they put you in an Americanized school?
I don't know. It just happened. It just happened. And yes, like I said, we've always been, I think my dad was working in San Francisco at the Bank of America before I was born, and they transferred him to Argentina 3 months before I was born. So that's how I ended up there.
Okay. Is he Argentinian, or is he from Argentina, or no?
He's from Uruguay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my family is like the United Nations.
That's crazy. So neither your parents were from there, and then they ended up moving there, and then you're born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you're
talk
about Berklee. How do you get on your radar?
So like I said, I went to American school, so I was very in touch with like the possibility of going there. But to be honest, during my high school years, I was very, like I said, into soccer. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna like see if I can make this a thing,
Sure.
But then when I started taking the classes and everything, I formed a band in Argentina, which was called Bluhauz.
Really? Same spelling, everything?
Without, at the end, it was an S instead of a Z.
Z, okay.
Right? But that was my first like actual band that made me want to dedicate my life to music. So I stayed there, and then we split up, and I already had a lot of friends at Harvard, at BU, and because all my friends who study with me went to the US, and I just kind of stayed playing rock and roll in Argentina instead of going there. So when I split up with the band, I said, okay, I'm going to Berklee. And that's the only school I applied to. There was no plan B. I like really started studying in Argentina, like really getting myself prepared. And I took a trip to Boston. I auditioned and I got in. I knew I got in after the audition. You know, you have that feeling, you know, when you did your thing. So
you knew you crushed it.
I remember at one point, because you come in and you play a piece, and then they ask you like scales and read
something you wrote, or just
I play something I wrote, but you can play anything that just showcases you. It's kind of like the audition part, like American Idol kind of situation, right?
Right. Okay.
That's very important. If I nail that, but then I don't know how to read music, who cares? They'll teach me the music. They just want to see that there's something that they can work with, that material. And I remember just kind of like playing my thing, and I started doing this solo, and I kind of looked up, and the two teachers went like, okay. And there I said, okay, I'm in. And I just kind of like rolled with it, you know.
Then you smashed the guitar.
Then I smashed the guitar. And yeah, I got in.
Wow. Okay. So then you moved to Berklee, moved to Boston. You're going to Berklee.
Then I moved to Berklee. Yeah.
And then how do you meet Jimmy Page?
Well, Jimmy comes before that.
Oh, Jimmy Page was before this. Okay. So
Jimmy Page.
Where does he fall in the story?
Yeah.
This is crazy to me.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you the raw story. I mean, during those teenage years in Argentina, I met someone that I was dating at the moment, and I dated for a long time. Mm-hmm. So we were 4 months into the relationship, and I was like really getting into. It was really the time that I was like actually getting into Led Zeppelin and Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix and everybody. Mm-hmm. So I found out that the girlfriend that I had at that moment was her uncle is Jimmy Page. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. A girl that came to my school. I had no idea. So it's like, how did I end up in that situation?
Right. Yeah. What are the odds of that? That's so crazy. That is so crazy.
Absolutely crazy, because it's exactly in the moment that I was like really getting into it. So at 19, I said, I'm going to London. You know, I have this opportunity. I'm going to London. So I went to London 10 days when I was 19, and I met him. I met his family. I talked to him. I was playing guitar, you know, and he was like looking at me play and then talking to me, and then he took me to the airport and we talked for like an hour. So there was like a complete story before Berklee, and that's why it was possible to do the Berklee thing, because Berklee brings artists and they give them the honorary doctorate. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like an award or like a doctorate, you know, and they do a ceremony and they do a big concert for like 10,000 people at the Boston University arena. And sometimes they ask the artists if they want to play, but sometimes the students end up asking. So basically I informed Berklee of this connection that I had, and that it would be cool to approach him and invite him. But very naive, very like, and I'm going to tell you something that I probably I shouldn't be telling you. When I met up with the Berklee people, they said, well, we didn't know you had this connection. We are already talking to Paul McCartney. And I said, Carl, that was the name of the person, Carl, let's just bring everyone. Do like a super night, Paul McCartney meets Jimmy Page, you know?
Yeah, that'd be insane.
And he's like, we would love to, but it's just like two very big artists. How can you like give recognition to both in one night? It's like they both deserve their night. Mm-hmm. So looks like that didn't go through, you know, and they ended up calling. We ended up making the connection, and I was on vacation, and I just got a call like, hey, he's coming, and I was like, what?
Like, Jimmy Page.
Yeah. It's like,
what happened with Paul McCartney? Did he just
no? Apparently no. he didn't come, or he was busy, or who knows. I don't know.
He's like, my 100 hits will speak for my doctorate.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. So it was like, it was either bringing him that year or the next year, but okay, that happened. I remember after that, it was an amazing show, amazing concert. Everybody was like super happy. And then I went to a meeting with some people that were going to take us to Lollapalooza, Argentina after that concert. And the guy introduced me to some people, and he's like, here's the guy who ruined commencement forever, because it's like, we won't top that ever again.
Oh, sure.
Like, who are we bringing next? we got to bring like David Gilmour or someone to top that, you know?
Yeah. So that's funny. Wow. So did you end up meeting up with him then when he came to Berklee?
Yes, but very, very short. My involvement was very like in the organization. I ended up kind of like directing the music part too. I chose the players. There's videos on YouTube if you put like Berklee, Jimmy Page, Berklee, Led Zeppelin, or Stone Giant, which was the name of my band. And then we did a song called The Ocean.
Yeah, you did that with him?
Not with him, but he was in the fourth row. He just came to see and relax and enjoy the ceremony. He didn't.
He didn't perform.
He didn't perform, which that kind of like opened up my opportunity, because I became the Jimmy Page of the night. You know, so I took over solos. I played like most of the songs.
Was that terrifying?
It was the best experience I've felt until today.
Really?
Yeah.
Until talking with me, I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Until we're talking it now. No, but I mean like how you feel on stage.
Right.
You know? And it was just amazing. I really prepared myself for that show. I probably practiced the Stereo to Heaven solo probably like 4 months every single day, you know. So I was ready when that.
You're prepared.
I was prepared.
And then your band Stone Giant, played the whole ceremony?
No, they only joined for The Ocean, but I played with other students as well, other couple of songs. But it was fun, man. We had there was a bar across the stadium, and we had a few tequilas, and then we went to play, and it was just out of body experience, you know. Like, I was like really playing and really feeling it, you know. You could see Jimmy in the fourth row, and there were 10,000 people watching, you know. It was the first time I've ever played for 10,000 people. I remember we started the show with Good Times, Bad Times. And when that song ended, the whole stadium just like, wow. And I've never experienced how it feels to have 10,000 people.
Yes.
Scream at you. Yeah. It was like, you know, you feel it.
Sure. Wow. Okay. So after that experience, you end up going to Berklee, and from Berklee, what leads you next? Like, where's your next path?
So I mean, I went to Berklee to really with the idea of forming a band, you know. And I actually met the keyboard player of Stone Giant. His name is João. He's playing with the son of John Lennon now. He's the keyboard player of Sean Lennon. And he's about to tour with Mastodon too.
Wow.
Yeah. When we split up with Stone Giant, he met Sean Lennon in a bar in a show, and they really hit it off. And he's an amazing keyboard player. He's just like one of the best, if not the best, rock keyboard player in Berklee.
Okay.
When I was there. So we met up the first week that I ever went to Berklee, and we started, hey, let's form a band. We both like the same things. And we had a bunch of different drummers and musicians, and still we found a team, and like we really consolidated ourselves as like the rock band of Berklee. We would play everywhere. People would know us. They come to the shows. We did parties. It was like a great movement. And then the next step was moving with Stone Giant to New York City. So after we did the album, we recorded the album in New Jersey and in Abbey Road. That's where we finished it.
Wow, you got a chance to record it at Abbey
Road? I went to master the album at Abbey Road. And
what was that like?
You can just send the files and have them back, but I'm like, I want to be there.
Right, of course.
I went with my manager at the moment, Nico, and we just, because we knew the mastering executive that handles the things, it was a friend of us, so he got us in, and it was great. I mean, the Studio 2 from the Beatles, I was there, you know, the Studio 1 where they do Star Wars. And it's just I mean, I remember signing in, and like 10 minutes before it said signed out, like Ronnie Wood, you know, like those people just come
in and out of there.
Yeah, just come in and out, you know. Or
I heard that if you're there, like if you're somebody I talked to recorded there, and they were like outside on a smoke break or something, and people like that are just walking up and down the street, like tourists and stuff, will just assume that you're like
you're someone, of course,
someone, and like we'll take pictures of you and stuff just because you're there at the studio.
Yeah. No, and everybody hangs out there. There's like a bar and a patio, and you go out, you have a smoke, you have a beer, and like I remember seeing the son of George Martin, for example.
Wow.
He was there. Other bands were there.
That's crazy.
So yeah, we finished that album. We moved to New York City.
Okay.
And then that's when we got into Lollapalooza, Argentina, and Chile in 2016.
Your band played?
Yeah, we played that. We traveled to play. That was when Eminem played, Tame Impala played, Alabama Shakes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so you get to meet all these bands and hang out with them backstage. Some of those bands already like knew our music because of like looking at the lineup, you know, and from there it just became a domino effect, a butterfly effect. Like we did a good show, and then they kept inviting us to like a bunch of huge festivals in Argentina and Chile, and then we came back to New York City and we did a couple more shows, and that's it. The last big show we've done was at the end of 2017. We played a festival in Argentina called the Bue. Gorillaz was there, Arcade Fire was there.
Oh, okay. I actually remember seeing this lineup.
From Argentina?
Yeah, from Argentina.
Exactly.
Actually, I knew people that went to it, actually.
Kevin Parker versus Mark Ronson played.
Yeah.
Exactly. We were in that.
Didn't it, like, wasn't there like a bad storm that happened?
Yeah, the day that Gorillaz played, there was a bad storm.
Yeah, did they get shut down or
something like that? I played the first day, and when that happened, I was already playing another festival in Chile. But
okay, yeah, I remember something happening because the people I knew that went, they were like super stoked to see Gorillaz. Yeah, and something happened where it was like pouring rain and like super windy or something, right. And yeah, they ended up not being able to play.
So that's the I mean, so we were like on our way to become this big band, you know, especially in Argentina. Like we were already in the lineups with this band.
Everybody, yeah.
And you feel good. I mean, you feel like you're part of it, you know.
And then what happened? Does the band kind of?
And then we came back. Then we came back. The bass player left the band for some reason, for family things and just personal things. I ended up moving to Miami until things just kind of like died out, and I got tired of it, and I just kind of like wanted a new vibe. So that's when I decided to go solo and just start writing in 2019, to start writing my album. So I could like continue the Stone Giant path, but more like on my own, you know. The style of music that I do now is like a bit more bluesy, a bit more classic rock. The other with Stone Giant is like very hard rock, psychedelic sometimes. So I don't know. I guess things happen for a reason, and I feel like more myself now, I guess, with the music that I'm playing. And the idea is to continue that path, but this time don't stop, don't get off the train.
Sure Was it like tell me about starting the solo project? So you said that started in the end of 2019?
Exactly. So I moved in 2018 to Miami. I was kind of like, okay, what should I do next, you know? That's when I became a music producer. I also got into music producing. And then at one point, and I'm like, okay, I need to like get back to this artist thing, you know? So I started writing. and I started writing demos. I did like 200 demos on my laptop on 2019. Wow. Yeah, like not finished demos with all the lyrics and the melodies and like everything, but maybe a riff or maybe an idea. So out of those 200 demos, I ended up choosing 13 songs, which is what the album is. And then 2020, I released the first 3 singles and now the album. So it's been a process of almost 2 years and a half since I began till like now.
What was it like, having the pandemic hit pretty quickly after you started the solo project?
Yeah. I released the first solo January 10th, which the song says, "Lord, come down and purify my soul." But I didn't intend for him to
come down and take out everything.
Come down and purify for real, He took it too serious.
Sure.
So
you had the record finished at this point or no?
No. I the record, I finished it like now, like in May.
Okay.
But I already had like Purify My Soul done. So I released Purify My Soul in January. And then I released a song called Give It Back in May. And we were in absolute pandemic quarantine. So the video that I did was like, I called up like 100 people or fans or whatever, and they sent me their videos like singing the song. So we did kind of like a compilation of everybody. That's singing. The only thing you could do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so yeah, the pandemic has been good for me. I mean, luckily I was able to maintain a few jobs, do some like remotely productions, teach online from home, whatever you were doing at that moment. And writing. I was writing the whole time.
And the record's out now.
So.
And how about supporting it? Like, are you playing any shows yet, or?
I haven't played a show for like people yet. The only thing I've done, I just came back from Los Angeles. I went to LA and I did Jam in the Van. You know that?
Oh yeah.
It's coming out next week actually. So I did 4 songs for Jam in the Van, and they're also releasing it on the Orange Amps channel.
Oh, awesome.
So it was great.
What was that like? I've met a buddy of mine's band did it, and
yeah,
I always turn out so good.
I always watched the channel on YouTube, and said it would be cool to play one day. So I got the opportunity. The people are very nice. The spot is very cool. The van is great, and just the energy was very cool. It was one of the first times like really playing my songs live, and I remember just the feeling of it was amazing. And
do you have a band with you, or are you just playing by yourself?
I'm not tied to a band. I know a lot of musicians.
Okay.
So I can like really rotate, or like depending on the situation, on the payment, on the location or whatever, I can call up different musicians that I know are good, that have stage presence, that can handle the situation. But yes, if I had to like now go and play Lollapalooza again, I know who I would call to be
your backup band. Okay.
But the bass player goes crazy, go home. Let's call the next one. The drummer can't do that show and I want to do it, I'll just call another drummer. So it's like I do have the team in my mind, but that's why I became solo, so to not depend on anyone.
So you can change out members without it being much of a big deal at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right on. And so you did not Tiny Desk, but you did the Jam in Your Van.
Jam in the Van, yeah.
That's coming out. And then what else have you?
And then I mean, we've been promoting the album. Got into a few Spotify playlists, finishing some videos, planning my move to LA because I feel like I just have to be there. It's like I was just there, and it's just being there just like incentivates your artistry, and it's just a different scene. In Miami is very Latin, very reggaeton, so it's like, till what point do you have a rock and roll scene here?
Not much of a rock and roll scene.
There is, but it's not like LA, right. It's not like LA. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do a few like selective shows in Miami and in LA and maybe New York, just to present the album this year. but the main idea is to start, like, you know, see about touring and opening for bands and festivals probably next year, you know.
Sure. Wow. Was it pretty exciting to play for the first time, especially these songs
it was.
that you haven't done yet?
I remember the drummer that I invited, and he's the one who recorded the album, is the drummer of Stone Giant that was with me all these years.
Oh, cool.
And we finished the show, and I like generally told him, like, man, these 4 songs for me felt like more like I felt better than all the years we've done with Stone Giant.
Really?
Yeah. Not to talk shit, you know.
Right, but still, great. I mean, that must be.
It was just something. I was feeling comfortable. I wrote all the lyrics. I wrote everything, so I was like very connected to what was going on. The songs are like more like you can jam on the songs, you know. Stone Giant was very like you needed to rehearse a lot of parts, a lot of riffs. It's not good or bad. It's just a different experience.
Different vibe. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I just felt great. So I'm very excited to see.
What's
I don't know, man. When you ask me what my plan is, I want it all. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, we'll see.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much, man, for doing this.
Let's have this call again in 5 years and see.
We will, or sooner.
Or sooner. 3 years. 3 years.
Or sooner.
Or sooner, yeah. Let's have this call in January.
Yeah, sure, man. Well, I appreciate you doing this. This has been great.
Thank you very much, Adam.
Yeah, I have one more question for you before I let you go.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for aspiring artists?
Advice for aspiring artists. A vision. Have a vision. Have a vision that nobody can touch it. You know? Because once you like connect yourself to that vision, it doesn't matter if like you're in a bad place or you're in a good place, or you have like supporting people, or you have people that are telling you to quit or whatever. You have something that is yours and nobody can touch, and it's that vision. And know how you're going to get to that vision. You know what you need to do to get there. But have a clear mind of what you want and how you're going to do it. And the other thing is consistency. Like how we were talking about Stone Giant. What would have happened if after all those festivals, I would have still played? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, if you keep that consistency going and like you don't get off the train, like we just talked about, I feel like eventually the doors open. Bring it back.